Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us. For this special figure showcase we're going to be looking at some Japanese exclusive figures, Darkwings. These came out in 1988 as part of the Super God Masterforce range of figures, and what we're going to do with this video, we're going to have a quick look at them in both of their modes. We're going to have a look at them combined. I'm also going to compare them with the standard Hasbro release that was released everywhere else around the world, and I'll show you the differences between the two and things you need to look out for them as well. So, as I've just mentioned, these are Japanese exclusive figures, and for the Hawkeyes out there, you'll notice straight away that they're redecos of the Hasbro figures that came out at the same time. One was called Darkwing and one was called Dreadwing. And however, in Japan, Darkwing is this guy here, and he was referred to as Hydra, and the other guy on the right hand side was the Hasbro version was Dreadwing, but the Japanese version, his name is Buster. If you have a quick look at the boxes either side, you'll see that Hydra was D304. The D stood for Decepticon, and on the other side we've got D305, which was Buster. Now the big difference between these, apart from the paint job obviously, between these and the Hasbro variants was the whole thing in which they were portrayed. Because in Japan they still had a cartoon running known as Super God Masterforce, they were able to take the toys into different avenues and different alleyways, whereas with Hasbro they'd stopped obviously making the cartoons and they were just releasing the figures. So for the Hasbro versions they were known as powermasters, whereas the Japanese they were referred to as godmasters, and that obviously tied in with the cartoon Super God Masterforce. So these little figures here, these are what's the actual character's name. So he is Hydra and he is Buster, and the toys work exactly the same as the Hasbro ones. You can combine them, you put them onto the ship mode and then you can transform them into the robots right in front of you. So what we'll do, we'll have a quick look at the robot modes first and foremost. So we've got Hydra, and that's this guy here. So as I say, he's just a straight up redeco of Darkwing. So we've got some articulation in the elbow joints and at the shoulder, not much more on the legs, but these figures were so cool. I had the original Hasbro ones when I was a kid, and I've got really good memories of these, playing with them all day and stuff. So obviously you've got a difference in the paint apps there. What I'll do now, I'll take the opportunity quickly to show you the Hasbro version. So there is the main, that's the Hasbro variant there, and you can see straight away you've got different coloured limbs. So the Japanese one's got the red, the Hasbro's got the turquoise, and the same is for that on the ship. When we come to the ship in a minute I'll show you that, but before we do that let's move on to Buster. So D305, the redeco of Dreadwing, and here he is. And so again, same thing, you've got movements at the elbows, none at the shoulder this time. You've got movements at the knees here, so they seem to have swapped. You've got movements in the legs here, whereas not as much in the arms, and the other one's exactly the opposite. Now you can obviously tell that these were jets in their alternate mode, but I think again for the time they do look very good. Oh, there we go. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to quickly, if I can get him to stand, there we go. So if I just move over the jet out of the way, I've got the Hasbro one right here as well. So you can see straight away they've changed the paint apps on the hips and on the shoulders. Figures are exactly the same. Again, main thing though, they just changed the name from Powermasters to Godmasters. So I've kept the little Godmasters in front there, and then they've got a few different paint apps on these as well. So that's the difference between them two. You can see the Japanese ones, well you can't actually, you can see they've kept the same sort of colour scheme. Oh no, I've put the wrong one, my apologies, too many of them. There we go. So that's the English one. So the only real difference is if I turn it round, you'll see on the back of the engine there that you've got the red on the Japanese, and that's the main difference. Can you see that? Let's just have a quick look. There we go. So there's the Japanese on the right, Hasbro to the left. I'll just bring these down because I've got a few more comparisons to have a look at. Japanese on the left this time, Hasbro on the right. So there they are, obviously, excuse me, in their robot modes. So now I'm just going to move these down onto the down here, and I'm lucky enough, or daft enough, however you want to call it, to have a couple of sets of each. So if I move them over, these two jets you can see here I've literally took out of the gift set at the back, and I don't think they've been transformed, excuse me, to be honest, because I just put the guns in their hands barely and they're just holding in there. So here is Hydra in his jet mode, very similar to the Hasbro one, just a different coloured tail. The main difference obviously is underneath where there's all the robots, different paints. So things to look out for: stress marks in the tails, stress marks here where you can do the transformation and combine. And again, really use the powermasters. You can use your fingers, but it's just not worth it in the end. You can really damage them. So I'll keep that there for a second, and then I'll do a comparison in a minute. Let's grab Buster now. So Buster's obviously got a lot of different paint apps in his jet mode, and you can see there they've got the red wings. Big thing with this, and I'll show you on my Hasbro ones, stress marks here. Again, that's due to transforming them and combining them, whereas on the underside there's not much difference. So there's the Japanese versions. Let's do straight up comparison then. So there you go. There's the Hasbro one to the right, where you've got the turquoise, and obviously the Japanese, you've got the red. So what I'm going to do now, the same with these. As I say, main difference there is just the tail. So you've got the red tail compared to the turquoise. Alright, so if we stand them all up together, you can see the differences. I'm going to rest that there a second just to make sure that they all fit. So the main differences you can see is the paint apps. They did use the same. I'll probably put my arm all in the way for that there. I've got quite a few, as you can see. There they all are in their modes. And again, I'm going to quickly just put the powermasters up as well. And what I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to have a short break, and I'm going to transform them into their combined forms. I'm going to do that off camera purely because they're very old toys, and I'm a bit dubious about doing it on camera, and especially with these because they do make a lot of noise and it's quite scary heart and mouth. But there you go. So we've got two of each, and you can see them all in their glory right there. But as I say, this video is about Darkwings, which is the combined form, and I'm going to show you that right now. Okay then, so I've managed to combine them into Darkwings. Again, apologies for doing this off camera. The main reason I do this is to keep the time down, and also I'm not going to fib to you, this just took me about 20 minutes, proper heart in mouth changing all these with all the clicking and the clunking. For anybody who's got the Hasbro ones, they'll know exactly what I mean and how careful you've got to be when you're connecting and you're combining them together. So what we've got here then, this is Darkwings. This is what he looks like together. These are the ones that I have combined before in the past for previous videos, and I'm sincerely hoping that I don't have to ever do it again. Hopefully there's enough video material I've done now of these, but what I can show you is what I forgot to on the last time. Remember I said there's stress marks very commonly appear there. That is coming from what used to be the Hasbro known as Dreadwing, and if I show you the back of here you'll see exactly what I mean. So you can get a stress mark there at the front and a stress mark on the back of the tail there, and what that is caused by mainly, you get a stress mark on the back there where you're combining it to form the combined vehicle, and you get this, if you're not using the powermasters correctly, to put it in to the back of the normal jet mode there. So these are the ones I don't think have been transformed, and they're staying that way. So overall though, fantastic figure. I love the fact that you can double the weapons up at the back. Obviously there they all are. It just looks so good, and it's huge as well. So you don't really realise how big this is. I've got nothing at hand apart from a G1 roller. So there's a G1 roller. You can just see how big it is. It's at least, yeah, you can, it's 3 of them. So 1, 2, it's about 3 rollers. While I'm here then, I've got the Hasbro one ready as well. So here's the Hasbro one, so you can really see the difference in the paint apps now. It's quite funny because it looks like they've done roles reversed. So basically on Dreadwing, the Hasbro version, they've changed all the wings. Darkwing's quite similar, so the big differences are when he's in the jet mode, and whereas if you turn it upside down, obviously you saw the robot modes, it's the opposite. So Darkwing's got much more different paint apps when he's in his robot mode. But there he is. That is the, as I say, combined figure. The other big difference between the English and the Japan releases is the fact that obviously they gave it a special box set, which you can see there as well. So it had its own reference number, it had its own release as well as the individual ones. So what we'll do now, we'll have a quick look at the packaging while we're here. So this is, might as well have a look at the individual ones. So there's there's Hydra's gift set. No, it's not his gift set. There's Hydra's box D304. There's the artwork of him on the front. If we spin it to the back, I'll show you this picture on the big box in a minute, a bit more detail. That's the Super God Masterforce artwork, or as you'd have seen it, it would have been the Powermasters, because you've got Powermaster Prime and the Pretenders. It's saying there about the fact that you can combine them as well. So there is, as I say, Hydra. Let's reach around this side for Busters. I want to be interested to see what the actual price was there. But there's Busters box, a bit better condition than Hydra. And if we spin it around again, you've got the same artwork, and the fact it's showing you there that you can combine them. But let's grab this great big box then. So the big box, and I love the way the Japanese do this with pretty much everything. You could obviously have Ginrai, which was Powermaster Prime, and God Bomber individually, and then you could buy a gift set of the two. So there's the two Godmasters I've kept in, even for the video, because I didn't really need them. I can use the others. You can see it says 306, so it's got its own release, and of course it's gold Darkwings, as I've said. That's got its own release. There's the two jets, and there's the combined form. So here's the lovely Super God Masterforce artwork on the back. Brilliant. As I say, all we knew back in the UK was it was just Pretenders and Powermasters. I had no idea of the Super God Masterforce range of toys and cartoon that was being aired at the time. The other good thing as well is with the Japanese stuff, they come with these little collector's cards as well, which is really good. It come with this catalogue, which I've done a video on already, so I won't go through spending much time with that. However, what I will do is I will show you this. This is a special catalogue that came with it, and it's here. And funnily enough, this looks like a mail away catalogue. So there you've got the Godmasters. So if I fold these out, obviously in Japan, I've shown you some of the leaflets, they had different releases. So you've got you could mail order the special, well, the Hasbro versions, to be honest. So you've got Joyride, he was known as Ranger and had a different colour scheme in Japan. Siren was obviously Go Shooter, that's it, yeah. Go Shooter, I've done a video on him. And Nightbeat, the most important one, if you're trying to find rare Transformers. The Japanese equivalent was Minerva. So if you want to scare yourself for prices of figures, Google Minerva. But yeah, this looks like, as I say, mail away catalogue. You can order them all. 1,800 yen. Not bad at all. The Insecticons must have been 980. But there's loads of bump. There's loads of paraphernalia, pamphlets and everything that come with the Japanese stuff, which makes it look really, really good. So let's wrap this up. These are Japanese exclusive figures. They were released in 1988, the same as the Hasbro variants. You can find these. There's a couple of sellers got their own websites. There's Artfire 2000, it's Chuck Lou. There's Matt Barrett, who sells a lot of stuff on Facebook and on eBay as Altergord. But yeah, this is brilliant. I really like these figures. I hope you enjoyed looking at them. I hope it educated if you've never seen them before. Most people have obviously only seen the Hasbro variants. Yeah, fantastic figures. Be very careful with the transformations. Make sure you're using the Powermasters. To be honest, as I say, I'm not going to transform that one again. It's going back into robot mode and it's staying that way. But there you go. There is Super God Masterforce Darkwings gift set. Thanks very much for watching.